Do your hips and lower back feel stiff? Your instinct might be to stretch more often or to stretch longer. Static stretching does help, but does your stiffness come right back? That may be because stiffness isn't always a muscle tightness or flexibility issue. Often it's your nervous system creating a protective response, messaging your body to hold on because it doesn't feel supported or stable. And in some cases, stretching more can actually reinforce instability instead of relieving stiffness. In this video, I'll walk you through 3 simple movements designed to help release stiffness by working with your nervous system rather than focusing only on your muscles and connective tissue. Let's start by noticing how your hips and back move right now. Start with your feet a little wider than hip distance apart. And we'll move right into hip circles. Notice your breathing and then pay attention to your hips. So your breathing is even. How do your hips feel? This is just a baseline just to check in for your hips and lower back. Notice the sensations because we'll do this at the end. And see if there are any changes in the stiffness in your hips and lower back. All right, let's begin in the chair. You can also begin on the mat. But I'm going to start with some internal rotation. So sit towards the front of your chair or sit on the mat. And then we're just going to take one knee in and then the other. So explore your internal range of motion here. Is one side different than the other? That's something good to notice because you can use that information later. And then right knee goes in and we'll turn to the left side of the room. So go ahead and turn to the left side of the room and then tip and tuck your pelvis. Notice how you're feeling and then find neutral. It's that center position. Gently press down into the floor and that turns your internal spinal stabilizers on so you feel a little taller. So it's not the maximal push. It's not like you're getting up out of the chair, but you're feeling that engagement in your core and in your legs. So from here, your foot may be further back, it may be further forward, but you're finding a stretch in the front of your hip, that tight, ropey hip flexor muscle group. You can give yourself a massage. So notice, is there any overactivity here? There could be. Or you could use your knuckles to just give yourself an easy massage, light. Or you could use a ball here. So you found neutral spine. You found the place that feels tight or stiff. You're pressing down gently. Now squeeze your glute. So squeeze your glute. Imagine that it's lifting up towards your waist in the back. And this is reciprocal inhibition, is allowing the front of the hip to relax because we're engaging the opposing muscle group. So give yourself a moment, a few breaths. We're just engaging to about 30 to 50% in the back of the body. And you might notice the front of the hip almost feels like it's melting or relaxing. And then release. Now, do you have a little bit more range of motion? Do you feel like you can extend more, maintain neutral posture? This would be a great time to stretch. Spend a minute or so stretching through that side, a time or two, to use that new range of motion and make sure you get those flexibility changes you're looking for. All right, let's try the other side. So come back to center. So it's all about finding new range of motion and then using it, right? So find, it might be different side to side, your pain-free range of motion here. Gently push down and notice how those stabilizers in your spine feel like they're turning on. So you're not pushing hard, but you are pushing down. It makes you feel tall. And you're finding where you feel a stretch, and then you're giving some feedback to your system with your knuckles, with your fingertips. But where do you feel tight? Give yourself a gentle massage there. It's not deep, it's gentle. And then sit up tall and squeeze your glute as though you're trying to lift it up to the back of your waist. And the turning on of this muscle in the posterior chain will release the front of your body. So give yourself a few breaths because exhaling can also help that sensation of release. Try it again. That's it. And then relax. Do you have a little bit more range of motion? If you do or if you don't, that's a good signal, right? You can use that extra range of motion, or you may need to spend a little more time in the prep phase. Let's move to my second movement. So our second movement is a hamstring release, but we're going to do a contract release style of hamstring stretch. So taking the right foot forward, Lengthen it without locking it, and then hinge forward. So do you feel the back of your leg, your right leg? Pull the toe back and you might feel your calf. So you're lengthening through the back of the body. You know that tight hamstrings can contribute to stiffness in the lower back, tightness through the hips because of their connections across the knee and across the hip. So find your pain-free range of motion where you feel definitely a stretch, but no pain. And then just pause there and mark it. How far forward are you able to hinge with a neutral spine without rounding, with that chest lifted? Give yourself a breath here. You've noticed how far you can hinge forward, and then shake it out. Now let's try a contract release stretch. So this time we're going to find that same end range. You feel the same sensation of stretch, but not overwhelm. Pull the toe back, and then push your heel into the floor. Now this is 30 to 50%. It's not a whole lot. You're not maxing out the push into the floor. You're just trying to activate more. Take a few breaths here. Chest up and notice how far you've hinged forward. And then come on back up. Shake it out. So let's try it again. Get into position. Hinge forward, but relax this time. And notice, do you have a little extra range of motion here? See, it's great information, right? You can do more stretching, more soft tissue kind of stretching. Let's try the other side. All right, one side may be tighter than the other. So this is all great information for you to inform how much time and how many stretching sessions that you should do. So find that pain-free range without locking the knee. And one side is generally different than the other, and that's okay. Breathe. And you're going to mark it. Chest is up, you're supported. Come on back out. And then let's try it again. So shake it out a bit, come back to center, pull the toe back, and then find your end range. And press down into the floor. Again, max 50%. So you're doing a gentle push, you're lifting your chest, you're supporting, and you're relaxing your jaw. So there's no residual tension anywhere else in your body. Come on back up. That's it. So you've added that contraction. Let's shake it out, and then we'll find, has your range of motion increased with just that little bit of contract release? I can see a difference in my range of motion, pulling the toe back with the same sensation in the back of the leg, but without locking. All right, so let's talk about another movement that may feel restricted, and that would be rotation. So scooting forward in your chair, just rotate side to side. Think about rotating equal weight on each hip. And you can think from the base of the spine up, articulating one vertebra at a time. Exhaling as you rotate. And then let's do this on the right. So find your max rotation without pushing with your hands. In fact, push down on your feet gently to stabilize your spine. Mark it. You can turn your head all the way back. How far is your rotation on the right? Come to center, take a breath, and then try on the left. And center. All right, open your stance and let's lengthen to the side body. Often restriction in the connective tissue and the musculature in the side of the body can contribute to lack of rotation or decreased rotation. Let's do it one more time. This time hold, lengthen from armpit to hip. So press your hip gently into the chair and feel that length through the side of the body. You can tap yourself on the shoulder if your shoulder doesn't like this. So did you feel that through the entire side body? Brace your core. Try to keep your spine long and not rounded. And then come back to center. So we're going to try a few things out here. Center, brace your core, and then rotate. Belly, chest, gaze, without pushing with your hands. Did it improve with that side stretch? And here's something else you can do. Look to the very right corner of your eye in this rotational position. Did that get you some additional range of motion? center. So now you can use that in your training. To the left, belly, chest gaze. You can support this rotational movement with strength training, with mobility. Eyes go to the very left corner of the eye once you've checked in on your rotation. And you're not pushing on the chair or on your thigh. Coming to center. All right, how did that feel? Let's go back to hip rotation here. Again, standing, seated, but rotate at the hips. Your stance is wide, and this is your time to check in. You have your baseline, how your hips were feeling, how your back was feeling. And this gives you a little window into how just 3 quick movements can improve the stiffness in your hips and lower back. Take a moment to notice how your hips and back feel now compared to when we started. Even subtle changes matter. That's often your nervous system easing out of a protective response and giving you more options for movement. From here, the goal is to use that improved range of motion and build on it with mobility and strength work that supports alignment and stability. So movement feels more connected, not stiff. This is why stretching doesn't have to be harder or longer to be effective. When you work with your nervous system in tandem with your muscles and connective tissue, your body often responds quickly. If you'd like a full week of simple neuro-supported movement and mindfulness, I've created a 7-day movement and mindfulness plan. The QR code is on your screen and the link is in the description. You can also come back to these 3 moves anytime that you feel stiff or stuck. And if you'd like to keep going, I've linked a follow-along video to ease back stiffness and pain right here on this screen. Thank you for spending a few minutes exploring movement with me today. I'd love to support you on your longevity journey. I'll see you in the next session.